So, I was telling you earlier, Sharlto, I was actually scared to come in here because you did such a good job on your character. Like, where'd you go to channel such, like, vicious evilness?
It was hard, actually. It was the hardest character that I've played. Because of that, because it was about taking, I think I'm quite an energetic person, and normally, you know, like with District 9, Vicus, or A-Team with Murdoch, it's like using it in more of a positive way. To sort of channel it in a very negative way was hard, but I suppose a lot of it was tapping into having grown up in a very violent country with a very turbulent sort of environment, and having to, I suppose, tap into that side of myself as well.
So was there real people you saw? I saw this with that you drew from?
Yeah, I mean, it was more sort of stereotypes in South Africa. There were sort of, there's an area of Johannesburg called the South, which is kind of like what the East End of London used to be like. It's guys talk, that's the way the character talks, the accent comes from there, a lot of his mannerisms, the kind of sarcastic arrogance, certain stereotypes within guys from the south of Joburg, as we would say. And I combined that with a very famous South African military unit called 3-2 Battalion that was involved in bush wars, as they call them, which is really about trying to stop the spread of communism in Africa during the 70s and early 80s.
What is it like for you when you go to promote at places like Comic-Con? You have a lot of like fanatics of like sci-fi, because it's crazy there, and you guys have been promoting this movie for years. So what is it like for you?
I love that. That's my favorite stuff, because you're dealing with people that, you know, just love movies in the same way that like Neil and I do. So those are, to be honest, my favorite sort of events to go to.
They tend to know more about the movie than you do.
Yeah, they do. They know a lot, and they ask crazy, you know, very detailed questions, and you got to know your stuff too. It's like you got to have, you know, you can't pull anything past them very easily.
Now you have some epic scenes with Matt Damon. What was the choreography like for you guys with the fight scene? Was there any like accidents or mistakes on set?
No crazy accidents, thankfully, because it was pretty crazy doing it was very much like sort of UFC style fighting that we were going for, much more sort of down and dirty and sort of wrestling and things like that in the suits, which is unusual. Normally in those sort of robotic Hulk suit type of scene, you'd imagine just, you know, people smashing each other across the room repeatedly. This actually gets very sort of intimate and wrestling and all that sort of thing. So I was kind of drawing on tricks that I learned from Rampage Jackson doing at the A-Team, you know. And so I was kind of laughing that I wound up having to fight like that, but it was thankfully nothing went wrong.
Okay, was the suit heavy?
It was very heavy. That's the one thing. They were heavier than they should have been. Matt and I were taking a bit of strain under the suit some days.
There was a lot of talk about Eminem being the first choice for Matt's role. Do you actually think Eminem could have pulled this role off?
I mean, that sort of thing is total speculation at this point. Each actor would do something very different, and so I think it would have been very different had somebody like Eminem done it. I think in the end, Matt was perfect for it.
Another fun, like when you're with your friends and family.
I don't do that, so I don't. You know, I can only speak to that from the point of view of when I was growing up. There was a poem by Paul Laurence.
Tenants thought I was Mark Wahlberg for the entire flight. I took pictures with him. I signed autographs. Yeah, no. The deal is you just have to be polite. You know, I have to protect his name more than my own.